All right, how's everyone doing? Good to see you all.
Yeah,
Right.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi,
Has
Ian.
has anyone been practicing anything with theory? Got any questions so far, or anything you would like to do? Maybe anyone?
Um,
I've been practicing the homework that you've given us, which is basically just doing the solos from the root notes and
Ah, yeah,
trying to hit the correct root note when the change of chord
yeah,
happens to try and give us a bit more fluidity, I suppose.
yeah. And how have you found that?
Yeah, good. I mean, obviously, it's not incredibly exciting, but it's it's
Yeah,
one of those grunge things you've got to keep hammering at
yeah,
every now and again to get your finger dexterity moving.
yeah. And we're gonna do an exercise to start with that is gonna help with the picking side of it. Talking about building up your accuracy and stuff like that. And also, we're going to look a bit further into what Roddy just said with, do you know how we target in the root notes? We're going to start looking at what arpeggios are and how they're
yes.
built within that major scale. Because I know it probably sounds scary, oh, arpeggios and all that. But it's like anything, you just embrace it at first and then it's second nature. And rather
What
than just hitting the root, you can hit the third or the fifth or the seventh, so it's interesting then. Go on, Rich.
what I found difficult was that if obviously we've been practicing one position, which was the E
Shape.
of the cage, the
Yeah.
E shape, but in the key of D. Now, obviously, yeah, if you constantly for the last 4 weeks doing that, it can get a little bit monotonous. So I've decided, I thought I'll come out of key and go into, let's say, key of B minor or E minor or another key,
Yeah.
and then try another position. Now, it
Is it?
didn't quite work. It just didn't work. I sort of like, for example, if you're using another position, there's a certain set of guidelines on the on the cage system,
Yeah.
i.e., that if you say you're in the key of, let's say, the key of B minor, which
Is D
obviously is,
major?
yeah, because so look what because right, yeah, because so you're saying that that was the relative minor of D
Yeah.
major, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, see,
So
so
then
what?
you do all your five shapes of D.
Yeah, got you right. So that was that one. So what if it was in the key of G then? Let's go for the key of G, which is
So if it's in the key of G, I'll just quickly demonstrate, and I will keep implementing songs which over the time, which will use different keys. But if
yeah,
you're in G, you would start. You've got a root note here on the fifth top string here on the third fret.
yes,
So to this side, you're gonna have the G shape, and to this side, you're gonna have the E shape.
right,
So here
yeah,
and here. Now after the G and E, what's the next shape?
D.
D,
D, which is here.
C,
And after D, what's the next shape?
C,
C, yeah, we start from cage. So then you've got the fifth, the
bloody
root
hell,
of the C and A are on the
yeah,
fifth string, so you got to find the G there. So the
right,
C's to this side, and
yeah.
the A is to that side.
Crikey O'Reilly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I probably didn't get.
Do you know
That's
what? We
quite
just
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. We were
What
focusing on that one position.
exactly what we've not done is shown how to move the keys yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a lot of information. It's
Yes,
confusing
it is.
you as
Yeah.
it is. So let's just do it stage by stage.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all
Fine.
right. Well, but it's a valid comment. You're saying you want to
Yeah.
move to another key. So we'll do. I'll make sure next time we focus on another key, and then we'll
Yeah.
learn the
Yeah.
five shapes in that key. So
Did
you
you
got.
get it, guys? Did you try and experiment and move
Oh,
out
Has
that?
anyone
no,
tried to
no, I
move
didn't.
it about?
No, I concentrate on rehearsing all the stuff I enjoy and do a little
Yeah.
bit of this
Yeah.
stuff that I've done
Me
in.
too.
Yeah.
You just slide it up and down, don't you? So whatever key is note you start on is
You do.
that's the key.
You do. But do you
Right.
know what? I'll talk about it in detail in
Okay.
another
Yeah.
session.
Fine.
Okay, so this first session, this first little exercise I want to do is using that E shape on the G, And what we're going to be doing is you're going to be keeping your second finger on here, and what I'll show you the exercise, then I'll show you the tabs so you can see it. So it runs up the scale, but you're always coming back to the root. So listen. Oh yeah, messed that up. So every time you hit a note up the scale, you're always coming back to the root. And what's happening is when you're string skipping, you're jumping a greater distance each time till you get from the 6th string to the 1st string. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I don't expect you to just do it off the cuff, just me showing you that. So I'll just get straight onto it. Okay, so here's your E shape. Okay, we're all familiar with that. So you start with your second finger, whichever way you like looking at it. If you start with the root at the bottom here, if you like that, 6 strings here. Okay, so we know that, don't we? And what I want to do is just look at 1 octave of it, and I want you to just label it 1 to 8. So they're the different degrees of the scale. You fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so count all that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get used to that. Just 1 octave of notes. I know we've done this quite a lot, but just as a little recap. Now what's going to happen? Here's the sequence of events here I've put in the middle. It goes 1, 2, then 1, 3, and then 1, 4, then 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7. And all the time this 1, which your second finger's on, by the way, just stays there the whole time. So you don't move this finger off this G there. So, and then, so whenever you go up the scale, you always go back to the root. So you got. Okay. So, Les, do you want to unmute? I'll just guide you, see if you're all right with that. So, play the. Are you looking at this way round, Les? This top one. All right. Okay. So just play the root with your second finger. That's it, and then always go back to the root. That's it. Back to the root. And that's it, back to the root. I think your finger was, yeah, that's it. Your finger was on the right thing, but you just plucked the wrong string. But that, you've got the idea, that's fine. Sam, do you want to play that for me? Let's have a little listen to that.
It's making me wrist there, this.
Yeah. So start with your second finger, really.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
That's it. That's it. And you'll find that the further the gap is, the harder it's going to be. But you could try and just keep that second finger down there on that G at the top as well. Yeah. Oh, nice guitar. Is that a new guitar?
Yeah, I sold the PRS and bought an Ashford.
Oh, yes.
Telly.
Now you're talking. That's my type of guitar, Telly. All right. I'll just listen to a couple more. Roddy, do you want to show us that?
Yep.
And then go back to the 1.
Sorry?
So do the 1, 2, and then back to the 1, 3. Okay, great. That's good, that. Right, let's just go to the next stage and I'll make sure I listen to everyone else. So now you got the full scale here that we practiced before. And then you just keep going up it till you get right to the very end. So once you got to that 8, you just carry on up the scale. So it's... So this is how far we got up to now, and then you go to the 3rd string, And what you'll find is the skipping of your plectrum gets wider and wider, and it's quite hard. And eventually, you want to be able to do it without looking. I don't think you were looking there, Roddy, were you? That which is good. But the further you get it, the harder it does get, the skipping. Michael, if you're mute, let's guide you through it. So see if you can make it all the way to the first string.
That's hard.
It is hard. It is hard. Slow it down. Slow it down a bit more. Start again.
I can't stretch. I can't seem to stretch my fingers.
That's it. And then you're on the second string.
I just can't seem to get my fingers. I can't seem to keep on the.
We'll
sort
use
of
your little finger on
sixth
that
string.
on them points.
Can't do it.
All
Can't do
right,
it.
cool. So what I noticed there is, do you know when it goes your second and fourth finger, and then it goes one? Each one of these here, you played it on the next fret along. So this one, you see the your second, the fourth one is directly underneath the root. It's not to the side of it. So do it again one more time. I tell you what, just do the start one, just an octave. There, see that one? You're playing it here. You've got to play that one here. This one. There you go.
Yeah.
And it's the same when you go down to this second string when you get that
It's
one.
weird because I kind of know the patterns, but when I do it like that, it goes to pot.
It's tough.
Because I'm thinking about my finger positions. It's much more difficult keeping your finger rooted.
Yeah, it is. And this is a tough exercise. It's not something that you practice for the rest of your life. You know, you do it, you master it, and you learn that extra bit of dexterity within your fingers and that extra bit of string skipping. You can master this like in a few weeks. Rich, do you want to unmute? Just keep at it, really.
Not easy, is it?
No.
Oh, crikey.
There. You're on the third string.
Got it. Right.
Don't jump up a string. You should be on that third string.
I thought I did that one. Third.
So what you got to do is
got it.
you're just not plucking the string. That's all. So maybe just work on that first octave. If this is hard, just work on the first octave until you get that right. I'll do a little video explaining it, but I think it is one worth mastering this. Definitely. Go on, Brian, let's have a little listen. Nice one, Rich. You got to almost imagine, see the scale as you do. So it gets harder at this point.
It does.
Move over a fret.
Oh, sorry, it's wrong one.
That's it. Lovely, yeah. Excellent. That's it. Biggest steps now. So it does get, the further it goes along, it does get really hard. It
Yeah,
does
but
get,
it's something I have trouble with anyway. So some exercises to try and improve.
yeah,
Gonna
I
help.
think you smashed that, you know. I think in a week or two, that'll just be nothing to you. Nice one, Brian. Well done. Yeah, just keep practicing it. The key to it when you've got that sorted is to make sure it's alternate picking. So you're going up the scale. If you watch this hand is alternate. See, I go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Like that. So it's just, you can build up the speed there. Yeah, it will help you with a lot of songs. Go on, Jimmy. You're the last one. Excellent, nice one. Well done, man. Really hard. Do you want to have a go at just alternate picking? Just try alternate. So you're going down, up, down, up, down.
So
Up. That's got to be an up.
might be a bit too much for the brain.
That's it. No, honest. Well, just leave it at that. You got the idea to get the alternate picking in there. But yeah, nice one, nice one. That's not easy, and you all embrace that really well. Okay, so what is an arpeggio? Can anyone remember how he explained an arpeggio at all?
So 1, 3, 5 of the chord.
Yeah, it's 1, 3, 5 of the
Not
chord.
the scale.
So really, it spells out the qualities of a chord. So whether it's like the minor third, or it's got the root, which is important, the minor or major third, the fifth, or like the seventh as well, which is important. It could be a major 7 or it could be a dominant 7. So it'll either say major 7 or just number 7, which is dominant 7. So it's the next step up really from starting on the root of the chord within the scale. So like we did on the last exercise, Roddy mentioned he was practicing. It's like the next step up from that, knowing where the third is, the fifth and the seventh, so you can jump from different parts of that chord. Okay, so it spells out the qualities of the chord, which is your 1, 3, 5 of the scale or your 1, 3, 7, 5 of the scale. So what that means, we'll get onto that in a second. Let's look at arpeggios starting from the same root. Okay, so we're going to do our G major 7 arpeggio. So you can see it's missing out some of that scale. It's missing out your second and your sixth and your fourth. And they're the key notes on a G major 7. So it'll sound like this. So obviously it's not playing a full scale. It's highlighting the key notes in that scale for that specific chord. So if I was to play you a G major 7 chord. 1, 3, 5, 7, and then back to 1 on the root. So if you notice there, within the degrees of the scale, there's nothing strange happening there. We're just cutting out the 2, the 4, and the 6th. Yeah, does that make sense? If we do this, it might zoom it in a little bit. Okay, so looking at a G7, what would we need to do to this 7 note to make it turn it from the major 7 to a 7, like a dominant 7?
Flatten it.
Flatten it, exactly. So here, you can see what happened there. I'll go back to the 7. So that's your major 7 there in the scale. And if you flatten it, you can see it's just moved down a step. So if you play up that arpeggio now, it like suddenly takes up a different sound altogether, the sound of it. So G7. Okay, so you should be able to hear that that matches with that that chord that I'm playing. So let's go back to the major 7 one. I'm going to play you a major 7 chord, and then I'll play you the 7 chord. So just play this arpeggio. Can you hear me guitar okay? So play over the top of it. I'll strum the chord and you just play the arpeggio. And hear that the notes, every one of them notes fits with this chord really nicely. When you get to that 7 as well, you can really hear it, that major 7 note. And focus on that 7 note and you'll hear it matches it really nice. Right, so let's flatten that 7 and I'm going to do a G7 chord. So you just play around with them notes. So notice how changing that 7 to a flat 7 now accommodates a G7 chord. To the major 7. Sorry, I can't change and play. So the major 7. Back to the 7. So this is really starting to delve into the playing around the chords type of
Can I have a
stuff.
question, Dave?
Yeah, go on.
You just gone to that G7 arpeggio and you're playing a flat 7, but that position is not. We've never played that in the G scale, have we?
No, not in the G
You just
scale.
flattened it.
I just flattened it straight there. Yeah,
So
I'm using the same.
I just, the E shape. When I was doing this, that particular position
Is not in it. No.
No, but you're still playing it because you're doing a G7.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of G7, what's that the 5th of? What's that the 5th chord of? Is C major. So actually, this is from a C major chord in the A
Right.
position.
Right.
But I'm just trying to look at it,
Yeah.
the chord on face value. So what's the difference between a G major 7 and a G7 arpeggio? It's that 7.
Flattened, yeah.
So the major 7 is within the G major scale.
Right,
But then
okay.
this jumps out of it.
Okay.
It's in another scale, but it's the 7 that's affected.
And Dave, what is a G7?
A G7,
Yeah, I'm a bit confused with that. I've got the G major 7 and then you're going to a G7. Is there a G major 7 chord and a G7 chord?
yeah, there is.
Will you play me those two chords?
Yeah. So this is your major 7, which is dreamy kind of sounding. Here's your G7.
But it's not a minor 7.
No, it's nothing. It's got no minor in it. It's the 7 that's affected.
Yeah, but that's the difference between a major 7 and a 7 that's confusing me.
Yeah, and a 7
it's a
has
new
another
condition.
name. It's called a dominant 7, so it has another name.
Okay.
But if you've played a G7 like this, you probably know how to play a G7 like that. You see that? If you move that first finger up a fret, so slide it up to the 2nd fret, that's your major 7. Just like you can see on the arpeggio, the difference between the major 7 and the flat 7 is a semitone rise. So when you're playing the 7, now this is confusing because the 7 is written flat 7. So the 7 is written in a chord symbol like G7. It also means flat 7, and it's also called a dominant 7. That's 3 ways of looking at it. Now, when you see this arpeggio 1 3 5 7, that is a major 7. That is nothing to do with a G7. That is a G major 7 because it's the 7th degree of that scale. So I can see where the confusion's coming here, because this is a G7 and it says flat 7. That is a major 7 and it says 7. Sorry, is your head's exploding at this
Yeah,
point?
but
I think you should stop.
A dominant 7 will always be flattened.
A flattened 7th, yeah.
Yeah. So it's an enharmonic because it's flat,
Whee.
but it's a dominant. So a dominant is flattened. So it.
You've not been reading the dictionary, have you, tonight, Rich? Okay. What we're going to do is look at another arpeggio, which is related to this. So it's going to be a G minor 7. So this flat 7 is a 7, a dominant 7. So if I was to do a minor there, what would I be affecting to create that minor feel of one of these notes?
The third.
The third. And where would that third, because that's a major third at the moment, where would it go?
Well, it'd be flattened.
So look, it's moved down there. So now that's a G minor 7. Because you've got the minor, which is that flat third. You've got the normal fifth. And then you've got this flat 7, which is a 7, which is a dominant.
By the way, it's called a perfect fifth.
All right. Top of the class.
Where'd you
Rich.
get this normal from? It's not normal.
The normal fifth. Yeah, sorry. I'm throwing in homemade sort of terminology now to just make it even worse for you. So you got root, your flat 3, which you can hear that minor sound straight away. Your perfect fifth, flat 7, and your 6. Okay, so there's another way of playing this which is easier, because jumping back to that flat 3 there might be a bit of a stretch. So this is actually the same thing. See that flat 3 there? It's the same note as that one there. So if you find that a bit of a stretch, this one you probably recognise it because it looks like your pentatonic shape. So you can start that with your first finger there. Start with your first finger rod on that 3rd fret. That's it. And then you can reach to that flat 3rd, just like your minor pentatonic shape. No, you would jump with your little finger, wouldn't you, to that flat 3rd. And you can... So if I was to show you a bit... So you had this, the root there, and this flat 3 there, but you can also play it there. See that note there, B flat, is the same as that. So you can go. Okay. Yeah, you're probably used to this one. Okay, so I'll play you a minor 7 chord and you can just play with them notes. Okay, does anyone have an idea how you would play, and this chord does exist because we've done it in songs, how would you play a G minor major 7? G minor major 7. So what would be altered here, Jimmy?
Same as you do a G minor 7, but you unflatten the 7.
The 7 here turns into its natural 1 here. Totally right. So these are all just types of chords that these made arpeggios fit around. So you can see here you got a G minor with a major 7, and that just shows you that the minor is nothing to do with a major 7. The minor's separate. When you're talking major 7, that's to do with the 7th note of the scale. So playing this you hear it a lot in Beatles songs where they'll do like a C minor major 7, and then C minor 7. You know, it's quite a common chord sequence, so it is a valid thing to know how this works. So just have a little play of that. I'll play you the chord of that. So you should know that that fits when you're playing them notes. So, okay. Is anyone's head hurting so far? Or is this sinking in? Yep, Sam. Is this sinking into anyone? Like, all I'm trying to get through to you is that the sort of outline of the chord being spelled out, like the qualities of the chord. So if you
So-
see a G minor 7, you know it's got a G with a flat third, a fifth, a flat 7.
Right, so the minor's just a flat third.
Yeah, when it states minor, it's flat third. If it doesn't state minor, you would just assume it's a major chord. Yeah.
And Dave, is everybody else's fantastic intelligence of being able to answer you'd flatten it, for instance, from a lesson that you've done, or is it just that you're all worldly wise and I'm not?
No, it's probably a lesson that I've done, Sam.
If
But,
you ever
if
come across that and can point me to that video, then it'd be great to
Yeah,
look
well,
at
do you know
on
what?
that.
I
If
would-
anything I say terminology-wise confuses you, just unmute and tell me. So when I say flat 3, it is when you say you got your root third and fifth. Your root third, flatten it is moving it down one.
I knew how to flatten it. I didn't know how Les or whoever it was that said it knew to say to flatten it.
Oh, Jimmy, yeah.
Oh, was it Jimmy? Sorry, Jimmy.
I didn't. I'll be honest. I was just about to ask why the third was flat, but then Dave said it, so I just seemed dead clever by accident.
Oh, I thought you actually learnt something then. No, when you say flat 3, that is your minor. That is when you say a minor chord like D minor, you've got to get the third note and you've got to flatten it. That creates the minor. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's just leave them arpeggios as it is. So there to just go over what we did there. We had a major 7th arpeggio. We had a G7 arpeggio. So it's spelling out the chord. You can hear it spelling out. G minor arpeggio. If I was to do this chord, I tell you what, as a good example where you can use your ears, play the G major 7 arpeggio. Okay, so the very first one. So just play that. Now I want you to keep playing through that, and I'm going to play another G chord, the G minor 7. I want you to hear how much of a dog's dinner it's going to sound. So play through this G major 7. Can your ears tell you that doesn't fit? Yeah, now let's go to the G minor 7 arpeggio. That'll match the chord that I've just played. Getting that flat 7 in there. Now can you tell that arpeggio fit over that chord? Yeah. And I know this is a lot to embrace, so I'm gonna like feed it to you in short chunks, really, over a long period of time. Okay. So what I wanted to do is this little exercise which runs up the family of chords. Do you know how we got G family of chords? G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor. You know we have the chords that are all in the family of G. Okay. And what we're going to do is when we play our scale, we're going to play the arpeggio going up the family of chords. So it's going to sound like this. You'll hear the chords now. So we'll play the chords. Da, 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 da. Oh, what was the last one? Yeah. Da, 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 da. So I'm playing the outline arpeggio of each one of them chords in the scale. So we got. So it's your 1, 3, 5. Okay, we're just going to go for it. We're going to embrace it. Here we go. So this it was still working with that E shape. And this is your 1-3. So you got the whole shape on there. I've left the whole shape on there. And you're going to play the 1-3-5, which is your G. You can see, here's your G major family of chords. And you got this red G here. So all you're playing is this. Just 1-3-5. Okay. Now the next one is A minor. You can see how it's changed. And then you're going to be doing the 1-3-5 of A minor. Do, do, do. And you can hear that matches the chord. Okay, let's go back to the G one. Let's play the G, which is... And then we're going to play the A minor one. Okay. Are you all right with this A minor one, Roddy? So start, yeah, little finger. That's it there. Excellent. So, and then the next one, your one's going to be here on this part of the scale. That's it, the B. And that's your B minor within the family. And I'll do the next one, then I'll recap over them, and then you got this, which is the C, 1-3-5. So these chords are within the scale, and these arpeggios are within the scale. So let's just go back to the G. This first one, 1-3-5 on the top. Okay, the next one starts with your little finger there up on the this note here, right on the top. And then you go to the next string on that second fret and go. You can see it's a B minor. You can almost see that same shape you did for the G minor, can't you? And then the next one's C major, which starts on the C there, on that 5th string, 3rd fret. Okay, the next one is the D. So you're going to start with your little finger here on the 1-3-5. So. You've always got to stay within that scale that you're seeing in front of you. And then you're on an E minor. So you're starting here on the 4th string. Start on the 4th string, root 3rd, 5th. That's it. And then the very last one is starting here on the 4th string, 4th fret. You probably start with your 3rd finger there. Play your 1-3-5. And then you could resolve it just on the G, which is one of these red ones. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a listen to some of you. Sam, do you want to go first? And I'm going to just, everyone else can play along. So when you've done the 1-3-5, I'm going to move to the next arpeggio in the family. Okay, the next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. And resolve on the G, which is any of these red ones. There, you can hear the resolve. So can you hear it stepping up the scale, the chords, the arpeggios?
Yeah, and that last 5 does sound discordant, doesn't it?
The last one, yeah, it's an F. It's a diminished, an F sharp diminished. We didn't look at the diminished yet because I could see everyone's heads frying on the arpeggios before. So, and a diminished is a flat 3rd and a flat 5th as well. But we'll look at that in time. We'll look at diminished at one point. Michael, Go on, Sam. Have you got a
I
question?
was going to say, and Dave, I'm enjoying this most of them all, so I don't want this to sound wrong, but
No.
what's the learning point in doing these, stepping through this family of chords?
Do you remember when we were doing improvising and we were just using the scale, and it was pretty aimless, weren't it?
Yeah.
And sometimes a bit of feedback was like you were just, a chord had come up and people would be landing on notes within the scale, but they were a bit dodgy and dissonant sounding. So we were trying to put a bit of meaning to the landing note you hit on. And I don't know if you remember, we had you would start on certain bits of the scale when the chord changed. That was the last session about probably a month ago or so.
So while we're playing these sequentially, you jump to that arpeggio if the chord changed from a G to a C. You
Exactly. Because when I look at the G major scale on my guitar, and I know we go to a D7, I'm not just imagining the G major scale, which I am imagining that, but on top of it, I see the D7 arpeggio. So I've got the arpeggio, which are the key notes that I'm looking at, and I've got the scale around it so I can fill it in with scale notes. But I won't just be landing on any note. I'll be like I'll be gravitating to the arpeggio, because the arpeggio is the key notes of the chord you're on. It's not just random notes in the scale, which it's getting you playing more melodic rather than scaly. I think everyone resonated with the fact they played a bit scaly. So Michael, let's play this. So start that again. That should have been on the 6th string. Are you on this one here, the bottom one?
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
on. Lovely. Next one. Lovely. Next one. Lovely. Next one. Lovely. Next one. Next one. Next one. And then resolve it on a red note. That's it. So even if you fully don't understand what these arpeggios are yet, if you get to grips with just playing around with this, I'll make up some exercises which put it into real practical things. So you'll be like, all right, yeah, I've done the arpeggio there. That makes sense. Okay, so just take it as a tool and an exercise to practice to get to grips with your arpeggios. This. All right, nice and well done, Rich. Richie. Oh, let's go back a bit. You can still all keep practicing along with Rich. Oh, wait there, that one, Rich. You went to this note here.
Yeah, I'm using the boss.
Oh, the bottom one, sorry. Yeah, you went to this note here.
So I did, yeah. What? Oh, yeah, what? Yes, got it.
That's it.
Yep.
Next one.
This is the B, isn't it?
E minor. There you go. That's it.
Next.
C. Lovely. First thing, yeah. Wait there, do that again.
Sugar.
Root, 3rd, 5th.
So,
You're
no.
jumping to the 5th.
Yeah. So 31.
Root. Same string, but 3 frets up. On the 5th fret.
Sorry. Yep. Oh, what?
No, that was the right place.
Right, yes.
That's there.
Yep.
You're jumping to this 5th here. You
Oh,
jump.
of course, yes. Yeah, sorry, guys. Yeah. No.
Not quite. There you go.
That's
there you
it,
go.
Yeah. Got it.
Last one. And and resolve on a red note. That's it, yeah. Excellent, nice one. Just keep practicing it as an exercise. Get it under your fingers. Get it so you can just rattle it off without any sort of hesitation. Go on, Brian. Got to make sure you've all got this before we move on. There's no harm in practicing this loads and loads. Go on, Brian, the next one. Lovely. Next one. See? And when you do it, say the chord so you know it's a C. That's it.
All right.
Get that on the 5th string. That's it.
Not right. Was that right? No, it wasn't, was it? Didn't sound right.
That's it. Last one. Third finger.
Third finger.
No, move it over to the 4th fret.
Oh, right.
There. That's it. Oh no, you should have been on the 4th string there. That's it. And resolve on this G here. There you go. That's it. So
Take
it's
some
just
working
an
on that.
exercise. You've got to
Yeah,
practice.
yeah.
Get to grips. It'll
It'll
really.
get- It's knowing those, isn't it? You're counting your 1, 3, 5 every time you have a different starting point.
Exactly.
And by
Exactly.
practice it'll come, won't it? Yeah.
Exactly. It's the first time you've done it. It's going to be a bit hesitant. That's totally fine. A few goes round, you'll just probably a week you'll have that. It'll be in your arsenal. It'll be just something you can do.
Yeah.
All right, nice one, Les. Go on. What, Les? Are you on the top one or the bottom one?
I'm on the top one.
Okay. Lovely. Little finger on the top there.
Oh, top one.
Lovely. Then on to the 5th string. That's it. Lovely. And that's with your 2nd finger, that one. On the 5th string. Lovely. Little finger there. Move it up to the 5th string. That's it. Lovely. That's it, yeah. And here, this one, 4th string, your 1st finger. Lovely. Lovely, yeah. Last one. Start with your 3rd finger. 1, 3, 5. That's it. Oh, I think that should be on the 4th string. That's it. Yeah. That's it. And little finger. That's it. And then on a red note. Excellent. Yeah, you got through that. No worries. Just work on it. I suppose it's hard to know the practical implication of it at this stage. So I'm just stressing to you how important it is just to learn this as an exercise. Go on,
Great
Jimmy.
dexterity exercise. Though,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, it's a good little exercise. Yeah, good warm up. Go on, Jimmy.
keep getting those wrong.
That's it. Because a good thing there is your ears are telling you what to do, and if you make a mistake, your ears know what they're what's going on. All right, so that's good. We've done the 1-3-5s. We've not got much time. We've got 5 minutes, and I won't listen to everyone, but I'll just roughly go over the 1-3-5-7. So these ones sound. So at the moment we've done 1-3-5. Oh yeah. So then 1-3-5-7 is. Okay, so it's building it up with 4 notes. So you got your 1-3-5-7. They're the most important 4 notes, because we only started off simple with 1-3-5, but really you want to be getting your 7s. So I'll tell you what, I'll just jump to here. Okay, so your 1-3-5, you've got that one. It's just adding that little 7 note on there. So I'm using my 3rd finger on that 7. So that's your G. Your next one, start with your little finger here, like you did with the A minor, but it's an A minor 7. That's it. Yeah. I'll just rifle through these really. And then you've got a B minor 7. If anyone's really getting stuck, just unmute. Okay, and then it's a C major 7. If you notice, that C major 7 shape is exactly like the G major 7 shape, but on the string below. Can you see some? You'll start to see some correlations, especially when you see the minor 7 shapes. They're the same arpeggio. So that's starting on the C on that 5th string, 3rd fret. Let's have a drink. Okay, the next one is the D7. So loads of riffs, loads of rock and roll riffs, rock riffs, use arpeggios. You'll start to recognize it once you get into this. There's the E minor. So we've done the 1-3-5, it's just adding that 7 to it. And the last one, is here. Ending on a G on a red note, just to resolve it. See, I'm using my little finger here on the 5, and I just use my little finger, just move it down a string to get the 7. Okay, does anyone fancy rifling through the 7s? So I could probably listen to one or two. Go on, Roddy. You glutton for punishment, ain't you?
Aye.
Here we go.
So, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start again. Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Then to the A minor 7. 5. Don't forget the 5, so 1-3-5-7. Do that again. Your second thing, that's it. See their consecutive strings, 6th, 5th, and you're jumping too much with the strings. Do your 1-3-5 again on that A minor.
On the A minor.
Yeah. That's it. There you go. That's it. Just recalibrating yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. Ah, that's not quite right. That's it. Don't move that first finger. There you go. That's it. And then the C major 7 is just like your G major 7. Start with your second finger. Okay, listen, we could go on and you will get that because you're doing really good. But what I'll do is I'll put together just using the 1-3-5 as an exercise, and then I'll put together the 1-3-5-7 as an exercise and just learn it. And over time, we'll practically put it into place. But just a little bit of feedback. Roddy, how did you find tonight's session?
Yeah, good. Obviously, personally, I think this is more of a grunge than a usual Thursday lesson. This is a bit of a more sticking down and getting into it without much enjoyment. But I know that it's necessary, so I'm prepared to get in there for the long term.
Because you know what? It will come with enjoyment, this knowledge. When you're floating around the fretboard, playing with meaning, you'll be like, oh, wow.
No, listen, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that. So, yeah,
exactly.
I get it, but it's not as enjoyable as Thursdays.
You like to just learn riffs, don't you?
Do you know what? Like,
go on,
if you
Rich.
go back to the scales, as you said, they get scally, and that this is the next step forward. It is just brilliant. I'm really getting into this, so it's taking over my life. Do you know what?
And your
It's not a
wife.
rock band then.
I keep seeing all this D sharp, E, the Fs, and everywhere I'm going. You know,
You're sleeping and nightmares,
But do you know,
sweating.
no, seriously, no. The arpeggios, they're it's brilliant when it clicks, and I'm sure it will soon. You know, it's the next step, isn't it? It's the next step of soloing and riffing and what have you. It's brilliant.
And you'll notice with the arpeggios, you'll start to notice all the riffs you've done of all the other bands are built from these arpeggios.
Exactly.
You understand how they work.
And then we just done it in the key of G, but you know, when you start moving it out, I'm not moving.
All right, I'm going to stop you there.
Just whoa. You are too excited for your own good, Rich.
No,
If we were to do it in every single
that's
key.
That's my biggest problem. I get just too excited about it.
Michael, how have you found tonight?
Yeah, tough going to start with, especially, to be honest. But I don't know if that's just because I've had time off over Christmas and drunk so much beer and stuff. But but yeah, as I got more into it, it kind of started to click a little bit as we got into it. So as everything is just practice.
It will. And it's getting back into the swing of the lessons and all that again.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, nice one, Brian.
Yeah, good one, Dave. Glad I didn't miss this one because it.
Yeah, me too.
You'll be struggling when you get to the next one.
Yeah, you're missing a big chunk.
Yeah,
That's how Sam feels about the past eight
I know,
lessons.
I can understand that. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy when you miss one or two.
No,
but it's the next, like Rich said, it's the next step on the journey of understanding your guitar and be able to take it forward.
Exactly, having fun. Ultimately, it's having fun, and I know this is the boring bit.
Well, no, it's still fun.
But when you can make it
No.
second nature, it is great fun. So
It's just nourishment.
yeah. Oh, listen, gents, sorry I cut you off, Les, Jimmy, and Sam. If you want to write me any feedback of how you felt and things for next time, just let me know because I've got another session starting in a few seconds, and I don't like to be late starting a session. But thanks a lot, everyone, for
cheers, everyone,
for being here. Really great.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate.
See you tomorrow.
Cheers, all.
Bye.